Thank you for coming on into the live and sharing your essence with me in this eternal moment of which we all share an inextricable and inexorable part. Thank you for doing your part, for coming on in each and every day. And we'll do the same without wasting a single second of your time. Bada bing, bada boom, to the upside. Bitcoin got that false move Monday, move to the upside. If you recall, yesterday I said watch your shorts. It could just do this big old fakeroo bounce to the upside. We even posted that to the group. We were saying be careful of your shorts. I said watch out for shorts earlier, but it went even higher than expected. This is why I just don't limit order a short in. I look for signs of weakness and liquidity exhaustion, and we came up to that 886 of this diagonal pitch fan we've had price in for some time. Let's go look to the left and see what little zones we could be coming back to. There's a little bit of a resistance point over here. Let's go ahead and mark this off as we come up into that 47,294 range. Looks like that's exactly where we wicked off of. You can see we dropped down here on Sunday, September 19th, 2021. That was one rejection. We got another one, resistance. Also over here, wickage, candle close over here. So this is where I look for multiple touches and flip zones. And it also happens to be a little mini point of control for this region over here. This consolidation range from 2022. So the next stop on the trip up to the upside is the 50k mark, or we could just as well come to that 48.8 region here and sputter out in this region. Although there is a wick right there at that 49.4 region. Let's go ahead and mark those up, and we will start to look at the liquidity. So what is high block? Well, people lock their liquidity into the charts to get burnt to a crisp by the market maker for not using a stop loss, and we get to see where those crispy characters are. So let's do it now. So on the 1 minute time frame, they smoked all of the shorts. So all of those shorts shorting up above that 46k region were turned to Krispy Kreme donuts.
Fatality.
And now they are coming back into the 100x longs, that those breakout neophytes that played this range over here. The Satos of the world got smoked over here. All of these 100xers now gone, and they're bouncing off their liquidity.
Fatality.
So for Tuesday, January 9th, we might be able to see some continuation to the upside. Why would that be the case? Well, they did a breakaway, and the breakaway is with conviction, so everyone tries to short it and they just drift into that liquidity. This is why when we enter a position, I'm very frugal when I enter, very timid if you will. I've been burnt in times past by limiting into here. I'd like to look for signs of fatigue first, and we had not come back above these regions. Here you have wait, is that set to default? It's max. So you have about few billion dollars up there at that 48.3 region. We could look for a potential fatigue zone up there as the liquidity tapers on the 7-day time frame. And if we go to the monthly getting some mighty thick range up here in that 47.9. You got $10 billion up at 48k. Starts to taper at 48.2. And so, yeah, you're also getting thicker bands on our path up into the 50k region. Never thought I'd say that 50k again it's in this early in 2024. Even if we see this, we could be seeing a pullback into some of the liquidity, and you could be looking at some possible long on this region. If there is a liquidity grab, you could get some V-shaped at some point. let's go into the higher time frames with the 3-month. What's up, Steven, Clue, Prehab, yo, I saw your gains, Prehab, good job, glad you caught that long. I tried to keep everyone abreast to the pivots, but if you got Momentum Master, it was pretty easy to see. I will go ahead and show the world what that looks like. But basically down here, when I was out at IKEA again getting my daughter's birthday gift. She's getting a new bed, so too busy on the road yet again. Missed another trade, but it is what it is. But over here on Asia, you had this rise up here, you broke the cloud, you came back, you kissed it, you were gone. Very simple. Easy trade. You had the super trend on your side, you had the London session holding the range, you even had this little pocket bounce. It was an equilibrium, I believe. No. Yeah, down in the equilibrium range. If we use this from where it started, not the dump, then we can use this properly and go like this. And then it came down to the 618 perfectly into that pocket, and then we were gone up into the deviation range and beyond. Okay, so we were looking at a potential failure at this zone because of some impulse here, potentially speaking, but there was no reason to break down. It had just never given up the ghost. Also, the Dixie was basically dropping as we came down, and NQ was breaking out. We were talking about this possibly coming down, giving a surge up, which is why I said watch your shorts, because the Dixie looked like it could be coming down. Okay, giving the risk on assets the bounce that they had. Okay, so, whoa! What? And yeah, so that was one easy way to look at that with the curving cloud on your side. That holy trinity of the Momentum Master Trinity. And yeah, looking at the higher time frame. Okay, so on the 48K zone, you got about $26 billion up here at 48K and 18 billion at 48.2. Starts to taper at that region, so I would expect some sort of pullback perhaps at that region. We will see as it gets to that 48K. We'll look again. Let's go try and find that daily resistance zone. It looks like 48.2 is the deviation path for this rise, retrace, continuation idea. This is the pocket region. We came up to that negative 2746.863 and paused there. So that was interesting that this was the first stop on the journey, using this impulse as the measure of that deviation. Alright, so let's go over here to the left and start to see where some resistance is. Right there. Some closes. That's 47,460. That's likely where we went. $48,295. Yeah, so that is basically where we went to nearly on the Binance chart. Whoa. Okay, so we're going to go into the time frames now and take a look. We have 23 hours for the 3-day. Once again, we talked about all of the options coming inbound for this cross down event. We said it could be like this April one, so watch out for your shorts, but eventually it does play out. So does that mean there's going to be some potential sell-off wick if we go up into here and start to come back down and sweep all these unrecovered wicks down here? We're here for it either way. And even if you come down to the 618, you could be bullish down in this region too. So you never know. You never know. So this is in 23 hours for Wednesday. There's the ETF rumor. So the people are buying the rumor. Is it going to get rejected and then go into this kind of halving idea, the pre-halving period? So we will see about that. Have a game plan for your longs if you have one. Some regions to look at. The 10th is when that ETF is meant to approve. On the daily time frame, this turned into a blue candle, a stopping volume candle. Does that mean it's not a vector material? Granted, they had these two vectors previous, so it's 200% of the previous 10 combined. So having to combine this maybe was a bit much, but even still, that is a stopping volume candle right here. We held the cloud very well on the daily time frame. We're starting to get the money flow beneath the RSI coming up for that last burst, perhaps on the daily. Oh, whoops, we forgot to activate. What is this little bit of happiness? Link in the description for more. It is Momentum Master. You can scroll down to features, toggle everything at your leisure, see all the prominent components, trend cloud, baseline, stochastic array, and more, dynamic alerts to your phone, yada yada yada. And yeah, moving to the 22. The 22 hasn't really been helping much in terms of giving insights other than the cloud, which is the same as the 12-hour. I mean, you've had this money flow coming beneath the RSI disparity that we always talk about. So that was something down here, but even still they did that sweep thereafter, so that didn't really help much. You had the hidden bullish on the 12-hour here. That was with that buyback sweep from when they came down to that 40k region. Let's go ahead and move that over there. These are all unrecovered wicks. Wick, 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 wick. Okay, so at some point, do we get some sort of sweep into these wicks? That would be interesting to note. We were talking about this 236. Unless you can get below this 42114, then you are not bearish at all. So this meandering around on that cloud. Trade with the cloud, my friends. Trade with the cloud. So the cloud was on your side for the 12-hour. We reclaimed it and we were holding that cloud. And we talked about this thinning, meaning an expansion or reversal, but it means a move is coming. And so us being on the side with the cloud means to go to the upside. 12-hour still has some room to go. You have this disparity on the 12-hour still showing money flow beneath the RSI. We could get that one last burst to the upside to that 48k region, possibly seeing this continuation up to here. This is a 4% possibility coming to that one level of the trend-based fibs. Coming to the 6-hour time frame. 6-hour, let's go ahead and remove this. We already went over that. So the 6-hour cross-up event, in effect, you have momentum on your side. There is no sign of fatigue just yet. I would be careful shorting. With such a cross-up event, you don't want to do that unless you see some lower time frame fatigue first. 3 vectors right now, so we could get another stopping volume coming our way. 4-hour time frame. This was interesting to note. They came down and reclaimed the cloud, came right back into it during that London session. Had a lot of volume come back into the market there. 1, 2, 3, 4 vector candles on the 4-hour time frame, just straight upside. Coming to the hourly. Hourly had that cross-up event and that holding of the adaptive reclaim, and then on the 15 you had that cloud kiss and you were gone. Okay, so you came back to that cloud, that's the retestable zone, boom, you were gone from there on out. Now we just came back to that cloud, we got a cloud kiss, super trend holding. Let's go see what type of liquidations they came into. We already saw that here with the 100xers coming back into those breakout traders. Do we come lower into some of these other 100x pools? There's 190 million down at 46,205. These are what you would call your thin prints, so they could come back down into here some more and find some support off of that. Basically, this is where you would start to think about that idea if you can't hold that range. Here was another one when you had this stopping volume and the thickness of this cloud. Could not even break the cloud. You came back to the outskirts and you were gone. So this is where you look to the lower time frame. And as soon as you see the cross-up event and the reclaiming of your baselines here, you could just cut it short. Pardon the pun. But I would not be shorting this right now. There is a large amount of shorts that are opening up into this region that they could just use as rocket fuel to continue further off the 111 million up here at 47,187. So I would expect a little bit of consolidation / retracement into some of these 100x longs. It's possible that you see a little bit of an ABC down into here and then continue with a D wave on up to that region. Would not be surprised if that is what London wants to do. Have Asia kind of fade into the idea of a short and then trick people into that idea around this time, one-ish. Okay, so let's go to the broader market real quick and let's take a look. So total got a little bit of a burst up into that region. We were talking about a fair value gap zone. We reclaimed some of these resistance levels, key resistance turning into support to potentially go hit that $1.72 trillion region. If you look at total three got a little bit spooked as we got that burst down and flushed some of the longs out prior to the move. Ultimately, you were holding this deviation level and the 706 trapdoor got bought back. And you were ultimately holding this 236 of the bullish nature. So are the alts going to see some rise? Let's go ahead and look at the USDT dominance. We did call this USDT dominance drop down here, talking about kissing the cloud and seeing how the cloud would respond. And so that is money coming back into the markets in terms of upside. So we were seeing this rejection of the 236 over here, talking about can you close beneath it with conviction, and we did. So now we're coming back to some daily support levels. This could be a shoulder head and a shoulder out. If you hold this cloud on the 12-hour, currently breaking beneath it. The cloud could be having us go lower if we go and kiss this with that opposite effect to what we are seeing in terms of going down to go up. So similar to this going down to go up here. All right, so the USDT dominance potentially rejecting off of this cloud on the daily, but overall the overarching everything starting to give you this insinuation if we can't get above this, but we've been hanging out in this range for some time now. This is a daily time frame, so this is 35 days of staying in the zone and not going lower or higher, kind of washing trades from alts to Bitcoin to alts to Bitcoin, and that's what's getting this Bitcoin price to rise up, using the alt profits to re-enter. So right now the alt's rotating back into Bitcoin because of the dominance breaking through here. We were talking about once it broke this range that you could be coming back into this wick. I don't know why this got moved, but we came back into this gap. We recovered the entire gap, just gapped up dominance for Bitcoin on the move. And we could be coming up into a deviation level up here. Let's just take this from here to here. Let me see, where is that? Over here, this one. Basically this here, from this impulse up to that impulse, and then this retrace. That's the most noticeable one, and then we came up to that 706 and dropped back down, and ABC down here. Now we're doing this D wave up. This is kind of your ABC here, and then you have this massive D wave to kind of come up to this region, possibly breaking through this 706 resistance level. We'll watch and see for the Bitcoin dominance. So the dominance rising while the Bitcoin price is also rising. You still have some alt action going on, because if you have the dominance and BTC increasing, then your alts should be decreasing, but you have Bitcoin pairs. Aha! So the Bitcoin pairs are what is causing things to go, but overall everything bleeding out. Matic took an 18% hit. Let's go ahead and take a look at Matic for my man over there, Steven. Granted, we were talking about coming lower. We had this 236 structure in place, and we were talking about coming down into these levels. That was the last we looked at it, I recall, talking about possibly coming down into the 618 pocket zone, if I recall correctly. This was due to the dominance dropping, and then we also had a ABC on the alts. So the alts saw their time in the sun, they got a nuke, they chilled out for a little bit, and now they're rinsing and repeating this process with Bitcoin and Ethereum. So most likely ETH BTC is having some, ETH BTC is coming to a low point. So if you are considering buying some ETH with your BTC, it's possible people do something with their ETH at this time. Let's go ahead and take a look on the daily time frame. You're getting some really low levels on the ETH BTC pair. Let's go ahead and clear this off. And you came back into a gap here, and we were looking at possibly coming up. This was a 3-day play, but we came back into that wick at 2110, and then we're starting to go sideways for ETH. So the next point of possible rise up could be Ethereum. If you look at total Total 2 is everything excluding BTC, so it has Ethereum. Total 3 excludes Ethereum 2, I believe. So total 3 is just the alts. Total 2 is with Ethereum. So Ethereum could take it up for another leg to the upside here. Looking at your ETH BTC pairs, if you have BTC and you buy ETH with it, you could ride this up some more at some stage, reaching those rocket ship levels. This rocket ship played out for about 7%. Let's go ahead and look at the 12-hour time frame. That is mighty bearish in nature as the ETH goes sideways. ETH levels trade very clean, so they've been having a lot of sweeps here on the 12-hour time frame. That was the sweep on the 3rd. Came back, reclaimed the cloud, and now you're looking to possibly go higher on ETH to put in some highs up here. Do you get a run up on the Ethereum of all the alts to see? Do people start to take their profits and start to diversify out into the DeFi space with the Ethereum chain? Also Solana. We reclaimed a support structure at the 84 level. Let's go ahead and zoom out here. We're reaching into some old levels when I used purple for my support back then. That was some levels from way back in the day. I like to keep that as a keepsake in the early days. So we broke down here back in last year, and we're starting to reclaim these $84 marks. Came back into the $100 mark and rejected, so we could be coming back on the Solana area as well. So the next stage would be to see some sort of alt rally, possibly with Solana or Ethereum. This is the daily time frame, so daily cloud bounce, 12 hours, also got that from Monday, 6 time frames oversold if you're looking at Sol. So you could be seeing some sort of shoulder, head, and possible shoulder if we reject at this cloud or this super trend and come back down again, coming to the 4 hour. Possibly coming up into that 107 region. As it stands right now on the hourly time frame, you did reclaim this cloud, and you saw a little bit of a shift here in structure. So it's possible you pull back to the equilibrium and then get going on your merry way. That is Solana. Ethereum in the same boat here, a little bit more bullish in nature. So this is where people would be looking at their ETH BTC stuff. So if you have BTC, they could they could buy into Ethereum using BTC and ride them both up for a hurrah kind of thing. If Ethereum does start to trade and trend, it all depends. All right, let's go take a look at the stream, see how you're doing. Cheers, good job. My other 14 courses are doing better, but Polymatic announces new partnership on January 10th, so hopefully uptime. Nice. So they have that partnership announcement coinciding with the ETF. The ETF, I'm curious, because is the ETF going to get approved or not? It's a rumor, so it would make sense for the pre-halving thing to have a bit of friction into the pre-halving idea, so then people buying the rumor and then selling with the news would make sense with that. So be careful with what the announcement is on Wednesday. Basically, do we get a rise up only to get rejected off in this region? This is a mighty high premium zone. They could use it for, they're using the hype to basically hype it up. Even if there's good news, they could manipulate it lower, manipulating the news to their advantage. So the last time they had a manipulation like that with some good news was September 7th, 2021. We can go back to that time in case you don't remember over here. Okay. This one. So they had an adoption of Bitcoin as a currency for El Salvador or Ecuador. I always mix up the two. And just as that was announcing, we were seeing the bearish divergence, and it was coming up into these regions, ironically around the same region we're at right now. And yeah, they were bullish and everyone was encouraged to buy Bitcoin, and boom, it just kind of pooped the bed to the tune of 18%, just sweeping all of that up. So be aware, it's par for the course with this asset to just take no prisoners and go where the liquidity is, so they could just as well come down to 39k without batting an eyelash whatsoever, and just come down 14% like they did. I mean, this was kind of similar to that. They only came down like 10% though. It could have been worse. So they needed more liquidity to go higher, manipulate all those shorts so they could come up into this region and then rip it to the downside, coming up into that 48k and then ripping all of these down. We will see what the news tomorrow entails. I don't know why my level got erased here. I had, oh, this is the wrong chart. I see, we're on the Coinbase. Wait, what? Did my, oh, okay, the Binance one's there. Yeah, so we had like an idea of coming up into that region at 48,295. So it's possible. Right now the hourly cross-down event is possibly flashing here. So coming back in a fake out into London, this little Asia pump, fake pump into a London pre-market sell-off dump with a London or New York continuation to the upside would be the idea to look at here. Asia very rarely does pump it, but we'll see. Asia does, their fake pumps are normally splendid to behold because they just either fake pump and then sell off into London or not. Okay. Alright, ladies and gents, I have to experiment on NinjaTrader with some stuff that I've been looking at, some new indicator stuff, so I gotta basically look at that in a minute. But coming back to the channel here, we came back and reclaimed 50%. If we go ahead and measure this here, we had a 50% bounce off of this vector candle. We recovered 50% and bouncing. Do they entice some FOMO longs, take it a little bit deeper, recover 3/4 of it, coming to this 706 region, taking out and flipping this to support to go higher to that 48.2 region. So far so good. We caught the pivot over here yesterday, so are we going to see some continuation upside after a little bit of manipulation to the downside? That's what we are here to see, and that is my story, and I'm sticking to it. Once again, slight pump fade into London, possible continuation London in New York session to the upside is what we are looking to see, being aware of this potential cross down event of the hourly time frame, but I doubt they're going to make it so easy, so possibly coming up and retrace down to fake out and then pump skyward some more. The liquidity as shown on the 1 minute, we came back into some of these 50x. There is some more down below. There's a $211 million long pool at 45,920. Another one at 46,205. So coming back for these 50xers could be the case if this fake pump fades into that. So far we have the 12 billion imbalance in long liquidity on the 1 minute time frame. Looking at that 48 for the 48k for the larger pool on the 3 month. We'll go ahead and show you that one last time to wrap it up in a nutshell for you. So coming back to this, so you got $26 billion up at that 48k region, so 18 billion at 48.2. That coincides with our levels, so we got some confluence up there at 48,295. Looking to see that potentially taken, and then beyond that point you could do some scam stuff into that liquidity below. Only time will tell, and that is why we are here, and that's our story, and we're sticking to it, folks. So thank you for coming on into the live and sharing your essence with me in this eternal moment of which we all share an inextricable and inexorable part. Thank you for doing your part, for coming on in each and every day, and we'll do the same, bringing the fire, the accuracy, the precision, all that fun stuff.